I'm George.
And I'm Ethan.
And this is Power Ranger Paintball.
Today we are going to be having a tank show.
Yay! Now, we're not like Mike Phillips. We don't have an endless budget, so we won't have a 77-inch. We won't have a 90. We won't have a 13 cubic inch. But we do have
4 different kinds of tanks.
We have CO2, which some of you might laugh at, but
again, we'll go over all of these and their details. You know, budget ballers here. Seriously, don't use CO2, but we'll go into that.
4830
HPA. We got a 45 or 56 by 4500 tank right here.
And then this industry standard 6845.
So we'll start with the CO2 tank here. Explaining it.
Alright, so this is kind of the groupie tank. And I say that because I started with it. Then I think it was sold to Ethan at one point, who then sold it to our friend Gaffin, who no longer is in the sport, but has proudly lent us his gear. And with CO2, if you really have no money, yes, you can buy this. But if you maybe only pull in, maybe if you don't, maybe you have a part-time job and you're 13 or 14. But really, this is $50. It's $30 extra, but it is so worth it.
Buy this.
Because here's the thing. Based on temperature is what bases the efficiency. Now obviously the gun plays some role in this, but you can get like sometimes 1,700 shots if it's really hot out, and if it's really cold out, you only get like 800 shots. It just depends, and it's so inconsistent over the chronograph.
So bad, and it freezes up the internals of your guns because CO2 is really cold.
And it actually has liquid in here. It's not just
They're dangerous also. Like, CO2 is dangerous, and it's not good.
In all seriousness, someone has actually been killed because this, basically, I guess you would call it the reg, unscrewed, shot off, and killed someone at, a paintball field. And that was a very sad moment in paintball, because it shined poorly on our industry, and CO2 is just terrible.
Just take this like you would treat the Empire Axe barrel and the V4 screw stock lens, and throw it out the window. But don't, because it might explode. So don't throw it.
And kill you.
So just set it down in the trash. But don't set it down in the trash. I don't think you could throw those in the trash.
No.
Put it in a closet and never look at it again. That's better.
Yes, like an ugly stepchild.
Exactly. Now, what you really want to do is spend that $50 and get yourself an HPA tank. 48 by 3,000 PSI?
Yes.
Yeah, 48 by 3,000 PSI. They're fine. They're standard tanks. It's not like you're going to get carbon fiber or anything like that. It's a Steely, okay? It's great for starters. I had this tank, gave it to my brother. I got this one, which is carbon fiber. We'll go into that. But it's a great entry-level HPA tank, and it's air. So it's a lot more consistent, and you got a regulator here, and it's fantastic. You can't go wrong with those.
Yeah, you'll see some people that are like, it's a 6845 tank or it's nothing. Mike has said that. Then in another video, he's been like, oh yeah, start off with a 4835. 3,000. Listen, this is $150, straight up. This is 2/3 less. And if you're a budget baller, like we were, that's the best thing. Maybe you got like some rich grandma will buy this tank for you, but if you're broke like us, you start out here. It's all about building up. I mean, come on, guys. Think about your first gun. It wasn't, a GO or a DM.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I didn't even pay for this. I won it in a contest, so I really wouldn't have even gotten it originally. I would have stuck with this, but luckily I got that, and it's really nice. But really, spend the extra $30. Don't cheap out. You won't regret it. 45?
The thing that we wanted to stress is, this is $20. This is $50. So you're like, why would I spend the $30? Because you're going to get that consistency over the chrono. And it's just going to be a better shot.
Yeah, and you get more respect for it. And also, sometimes I've heard, when you attach this to a gun, and you may lean the gun down like that, it's liquid inside here. Liquid may occasionally leak out from the tip right here into your gun.
And freeze your internals.
Yeah, I know the GOG Ecstasy actually had a fail-safe thing, where if it detected that, you were okay, or whatever. But if you're using an old Tippmann or something like that with CO2, you could freeze the internals of your gun, because I don't think Tippmanns have anything in there that will protect it.
Yeah, and as a budget baller, the last thing you want is a maintenance scare. Talk to us, if you ever meet us, about a Proto SLG or a GOG Ecstasy and all the crap we went through with them.
You don't want that stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, that relates to tanks. So, and Ethan will now get into his Empire tank that he won.
So, this is an Empire carbon fiber tank. It is a 56 cubic inch by 4,500 psi tank. It has stock with the Reactor 2 regulator made by Pure Energy. Right there, you can see that. Has two burst discs, high and low pressure. Not exactly sure what the pressure is, but yeah. What else? You could take off the reg. You have to have the reg removed if you're traveling anywhere. I can't do it right now, obviously. It's tightened on really tight. It's supposed to be, and it's user serviceable actually inside the reg if you need to replace some parts. So that's really nice. Also, officially, it's known as a peanut tank because it's really small compared here, George. Let me see that. To a 68 4500, it's a lot smaller. But here at Power Ranger Paintball, we call them booby tanks because, you know,
We love boobies.
we love boobies.
And
So,
we didn't start that. That was Kitty, who was a moderator for TechPB, but it's kind of become an industry standard name from a peanut to a booby tank.
yeah. So if you ever get a booby tank, you can run around saying, "I love boobies. I have a booby tank." But you know, you want to be those people.
Yeah, so this is a custom Paintball Explosion tank. Paintball Explosion, that's our, I guess what you call our home field. It's up is in East Dundee, Illinois, which is 30 minutes west of Chicago, so you're in the Illinois area, definitely check it out. But it's their custom tank because it has an Immortal Air Reg, which is a $60 regulator in itself, and then it has a Crossfire body. And people, you know, before Ninja became big, Crossfire was the body to have, and then Immortal Air was the reg to have. So, I mean, they're a little bit old school, but, you know, I kind of like throwing back to that, and it's an all-around great tank. My reg is also popped for travel.
I mean, they're great tanks, you know, 5-year hydro, all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah. And also, what you might want to purchase if you have one of these high-quality tanks is one of these.
The mine I'm not going to put on because it's impossible and sort of kind of fits for it, but these are tank covers. Now, you've heard, if you've seen one of Mike's videos, you hear him talk that why would you buy a tank cover? It's not going to make a difference, you know, because if you honestly are diving in the snake and hit a rock, a stake or something, this extra 1/16th inch of, you know, not
I
plastic.
don't even know, like protection. It'll
Yeah,
make a
correct.
difference.
It won't make a difference.
Well, here's the thing where it does make the difference. I remember the only reason I actually got this is because I was in a field with my old Steely tank, and I was running out. I was trying to run across the field to get away from some cover, and I slipped, and I fell because it was really slippery that day. I was wearing cleats, and I slipped on, it was asphalt, and I actually dented, like a huge dent in my tank. It's not this one. We don't actually have it here. But still, like a dent there, and I was scared to death. I thought it was broken. I thought I was done. I thought it was going to explode on me or something like that. Thank God, it's steely, it's tough. It didn't. But then there's a dent there. That's not as pretty anymore. You know, you like to keep your boobies pretty, right?
Yeah. Also, like, it just helps the resale value because if it's not scratched on the tank, you know, as soon as you hear scratch on a tank, someone's gonna dummy you down price-wise. So these are really just to keep it from scratching and keep the value the same as it is. Because honestly, it's not like it's, you know, ultra like Kevlar vest type deal where it's gonna, you know, block anything that comes in its path. They're just something that's good to have. And also something that you didn't point out that I like about this tank, it's a 56 cubic inch. Most tanks are 48 or 50. And that's what kept me from a booby tank also because this was on sale really cheap. But 56 cubic inches is going to give you a lot more efficiency compared to a 48 cubic inch tank. So that's something to think about, you know, because if you're scared of, oh, I only have a 48, you know, 45 tank, I'm not going to have enough air. You know, like Dynasty use 70 cubic inch tanks because they're worried about 68s. This kind of solves that problem for me. Like this, in my opinion, is the perfect tank. This tank was just really cheap, so I bought it because I'm a budget baller. Well,
Yeah, that's what we are. Yeah, anyway, with that, really great tanks. What you really want to do is go to your local pro shop, test them out, because really, if you're a big guy like George, you're going to want a bigger tank. You know, if you play front, maybe, or George plays back, so big tank's actually fine for him, 68 cubic inch, but I play front, like D-side sometimes, so I need a small tank so I can get in and out of there, so booby tank's actually perfect for me. But really, go test out your tanks, go to your field. I'm sure people will have them. They'll be fine to let you look at them, feel them, and stuff like that. And that's really the best way you choose a tank. So get rid of this. Don't ever look at that again. Choose from these. Choose from these.
Yep. This is your starter tank. I am brand new to paintball. I love it. I want my own gear. Then this is, I want to be a serious rec ball / beginner tournament player.
Yeah.
This is where you get into these tanks, because these tanks are top of the line tanks. At 4,500 PSI, no matter what size, that tops out as top of the line tank. Now, back in the day, there were like 5,000 PSI tanks, but those don't really exist. But so that's the key thing. These are the top of the line tanks because they're 6845s. Now, yeah, you can argue, oh, Ninja's better, but at the end of the day, a 6845 or a 4,500 tank in general is a top of the line tank, and that's really committed to the sport. So we can understand if you want to go out and spend $150 on this tank and you just want this $50 tank because you're brand new to the sport.
That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. And one last thing I forgot to add. Well, another reason why CO2 is awful. So there's O-ring right here at the very tip. That's probably like the 5th O-ring that we've had to replace on the CO2 tank here. Every single time you take this off your gun, it seems like it pops, and it's very annoying. And O-rings are kind of cheap, but come on, really?
Yeah, in your lifetime of a CO2 tank, you'll be surprised. 20 O-rings, $10. You will spend $10 to $20 on O-rings.
And there it is. There's almost your $50 you could have just spent on this.
Yeah, because Empire tanks, their O-rings don't break because they let you degas. Unlike these, which are just, gotta crank on them.
Yeah, I remember having to sit down and really try to get in there. Alright, well, that about wraps it up for today on our tank show. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.
And always email us with any questions, email us with video suggestions, or just give us a shout out. Like, you want to learn more about us? Like, what else do you play? Do you do any other sports?
Yeah.
What,
we want to hear from you.
What do you think about the most recent, Walking Dead episode? Whatever. Because honestly, we just love seeing the sport grow, and we just love talking to people, because people with paintball experience are so interesting, because a field owner could have years of experience, played all over the world, and you would never know if you never went up to them. So,
yeah.
That's another thing. Never be afraid to approach people at your field. Most people in paintball are nice. Now, you'll get your occasional douchebags, like with every sport, but most people are nice in paintball because they realize to get people into this sport, in a sport that's already tough to get people into, it's kind of nice to be nice. So, as always, be nice to your fields and talk to people.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys. See you next time.